Welcome to another installment of abA to Z with Tara Zeller, brought to you by the Apple Tree Connection. I am a behavior analyst covering topics in the science of applied behavior analysis at the registered behavior technician level, which is also really useful for parents, teachers, paraprofessionals, really anybody working with children or clients with behavioral concerns or needs. Today's topic is differential reinforcement. I love this topic. I love this concept. I use it all the time in my life, with my clients, with my children. So I wanted to make sure that all of my current RBT students or anybody that is a current RBT or studying to be an RBT understands this concept as one of the core ways that we reinforce behaviors as an alternative to reinforcing problem behaviors in our clients. Differential reinforcement, I will cover today the DRO, the DRA, and the DRI. Those are just the ones I'm going to cover today again because it's at the RBT level, Registered Behavior Technician level. I want to start with DRA. Actually, let's just start with the definition of differential reinforcement. It is the method of reinforcing one or more behaviors, BX, behavior, instead of reinforcing a previously reinforced problem behavior. Sounds maybe confusing, sounds maybe simple. Let's break it down. It does require an awareness of a problem behavior to be eliminated or replaced. So that's key to this process. So the DRA, differential reinforcement of alternative behaviors. It's when we reinforce an alternative response to the problem behavior while placing the problem behavior on extinction or using some other procedure to reduce or eliminate the problem behavior. That's the definition. I'm going to do definitions first and then we'll do examples. DRI, differential reinforcement of incompatible behaviors. It's really a subset of the DRA because you are reinforcing some other behavior, a different behavior. I'm going to stop saying the word other because that comes into play later. You are reinforcing a particular behavior. In this case, it is actually incompatible to the problem behavior, which means they cannot co-occur. They cannot exist at the same time. Same concept as the DRA, except in this case, the replacement is incompatible. DRO, differential reinforcement of other behaviors, providing reinforcement when the problem behavior does not occur. It is also known as omission training or the differential reinforcement of zero occurrences of behavior. Okay, keep that in mind. Let's do some concepts in action so it's easy to differentiate the different types of differential reinforcement. So for a DRA, and I took a few notes here, let's say you have a client that gets your attention by repeatedly calling out your name. An alternative behavior to that would be using the term excuse me. So DRA, in this situation, we need to first teach that replacement behavior that we are going to differentially reinforce. We can't make assumptions that our client has that new behavior in their repertoire. They might, but we're going to use this to either teach it or shape it up, right? So in a DRA, in the situation where your client is repeatedly calling your name to gain your attention, you would no longer reinforce that behavior. Instead, you would reinforce when they say, excuse me, with your name or however you teach them to do it. You would be putting the repeatedly calling your name on extinction while simultaneously reinforcing the new behavior, excuse me. That is DRA. DRI is the incompatible version of that, which means the two cannot co-occur, right? Because you could be, for a DRA, if we were going to use that same behavior, Miss Tara, Miss Tara, Miss Tara, Miss Tara, excuse me, Miss Tara, Miss Tara, Miss Tara, Miss Tara, excuse me, Miss Tara. They could happen at the same time. It would be hard to reinforce one without the other at that point. But DRI, they have to be incompatible, the problem behavior and the new behavior that we are going to differentially reinforce. So the example I wrote down was if your client gets out of their seat to walk over and gain your attention. Let's say they're in the middle of a task that you have them doing. Well, first you would want to find an incompatible behavior, something they cannot do at the same time as being out of seat. So being in seat and being out of seat can't happen at the same time unless they get really clever and just walk around with their seat attached to their bottoms, right? So first you're going to teach in seat, raising hand. You could even teach in seat, saying, excuse me. You can combine maybe the two, but being in seat and being out of seat are incompatible ways to gain attention. So you would, in the instance of a client that does that and you're trying to differentially reinforce in-seat behavior because the out-of-seat behavior has become such a problem, when they come to you out of the seat to get your attention, you do not reinforce it. When they are in seat and to get your attention, you reinforce it. Again, you have to teach that replacement behavior and you have to reinforce it. And then for DRO, this is used when it's not necessarily that there is no alternative behavior or there is no incompatible behavior, but there's something that you are trying to omit and extinguish from somebody's repertoire. I came up with complaining. Let's say you have a client that spends a lot of time in verbal exchange that is complaining, and it's obviously somebody that you can have a conversation with. In this situation, the absence of complaining for a set amount of time would be reinforced. It's not that there is a particular behavior that you are looking to reinforce, but you are looking to reinforce the client when the complaining does not occur during a set period of time. So let's say it's 3 minutes. You're having a verbal exchange with your client about many different things, and at the end of the 3 minutes, when your client has not engaged in complaining, you reinforce other things. In this case, it could be something related of, great job staying on topic with me. I'm so glad we had this great conversational exchange. You're not saying, I'm so glad you didn't complain. The idea is to put that in extinction and to not focus on it and to reinforce the absence or omission or the zero existence of that problem behavior. All of this is aimed at improving the lives of our clients, right? I wrote down a list of benefits because I love this concept and I could talk for hours and hours on it because one thing to me leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. And when I teach my students the concepts of abA at the registered behavior technician level, I say a lot of times shaping. It's what we do. And differential reinforcement is one way to shape behavior. So a benefit of using differential reinforcement is that it leads to shaping new behaviors in our clients' lives. It combines other abA concepts, including extinction, to reduce extinction bursts. If you use extinction alone, where you just stop reinforcing a previously reinforced behavior, you're going to see an uptick in that behavior. If you use differential reinforcement to find something else to focus on, those extinction bursts get reduced because you are shifting the focus to something that your client can do. We begin to focus on catching our clients being good. This right here. This is what it all comes down to. I teach my students all the time that even though we are tasked with working with people with problem behaviors, we spend a lot of our time focusing on the replacement behaviors for those problem behaviors. So differential reinforcement is a way for us to remember to catch our clients being good. And then we get to focus on teaching adaptive, I love that word, versus maladaptive, adaptive, socially appropriate behaviors, which is what we are here to do at the core as behavior practitioners, is to improve socially significant behaviors in the lives of our clients. So I hope that the way that I taught you today helps you wrap your head around the concept of differential reinforcement, specifically DRA, DRI, and DRO. These videos are found on our YouTube channel. We also push them out to our Apple Tree Connection Facebook page. They're also linked to our website and our Instagram. We encourage you to follow us so you can continue to learn and share this out with anybody you think that it would be beneficial to. Have a wonderful day.